So we all hate ads until we make money out of the ads. So guys, we're talking today about dynamic ad insertion, which is a bit of a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit vague on all of it. What exactly is a dynamic ad insertion?
Okay. It's an opportunity for a podcaster to be able to monetize their content
Okay.
through ads that are inserted into their episodes
Mm-hmm.
as a result of them being with a specific host, having indicated that they're available for advertising, having met a bunch of criteria. And then when you're listening to an episode and the podcaster says we'll be pausing for an ad break, then there's an ad, and then the podcast continues. That ad is as a result of dynamic ad insertion.
Okay. So it's like YouTube when I've got a long video and then you've got ads in between at random moments.
Yes, same
And
thing.
does it work exactly the same on Spotify and all the other platforms?
It doesn't. YouTube
not
is
exact.
not exactly the same. YouTube controls the ads and just puts them into your video essentially.
Yeah.
And it's done via Google Ads. When it's Spotify, you sign up for a hosting company, and that hosting company runs the dynamic ad insertions with you.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes perfect sense, but
So
it's kind of similar, but it's different. For Spotify, you have more control over your ads. You can specify exactly when they appear, so you can do like a little build up to the ad break if you want. Insert your ad, and then carry on. I mean, but it's controlled through the hosting platform and yourself.
Okay, great. So now I've got a bit of a better understanding of what dynamic ad insertion is, but do we do this on our podcast?
No.
Why not?
You have to reach a level of downloads per episode to even qualify.
Okay.
And depending on which host you use, that will be a little different. Buzzsprout, which is quite a good entry-level hosting option, has 500 to 1,000 downloads per episode as their minimum sort of entry-level option. But it's important to note that you'll probably not notice any real rand value until you're hitting more like 5,000 downloads per ep.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, our little podcast isn't quite there yet.
Not yet.
But it will any day now. So yeah, I think it's really important that podcasters in their early days are working on growing their audience.
Yes.
And if you can do that and focus on what you are trying to say, tell great stories, have wonderful guests, your audience will grow. And then down the track, you can monetize.
Yeah. And when it comes to that monetization, so again, my limited knowledge is YouTube. YouTube handles that and they pay you out. Now we've got a third-party host. Do you negotiate the ad revenue split with that host, not the platform?
Yes. I think, again, depending on the host, you will have a different revenue share. I think it's 20 to 40% on Buzzsprout. I'd need to double check that. I'm not sure what YouTube's numbers are. I think they take more.
I think they're about 50%.
More,
Right. Yeah. So, I think that it's not instant money. It's not overnight success, and it's not going to be a massive amount of money per month until such time as you have got regular massive downloads on each episode. And again, I think that's why being consistent with your output of your EPs is important. You've got to build that audience through good momentum. If you can continue to maintain a good number of downloads per EP, and if you're obviously producing more and more content, the monetization opportunity grows.
Yeah, the other nice thing about dynamic ads is that you can monetize your back catalog.
Yeah.
So, because if you're listening to an episode from 2 years ago, the ads you hear in it will still be relevant because they're being dynamically inserted.
Yeah, they changed.
They've changed. So the more content you have out there, the more opportunity there is for dynamic ad insertion, which is cool. And it's just worth clarifying, it's different to like a baked in ad.
Yes.
So a baked-in ad is just part of the episode. So if you might hear a Christmas ad in July when when you're listening to a podcast. So that's the main difference between dynamic ad insertion
Okay.
and regular sort of
So
ads.
so it's really a volume game. Volume of audience, volume of episodes equals small gain on each ad, which adds up into a revenue.
Yeah.
And that's the game.
Maybe I can quickly look up the YouTube numbers just so that, we have a
benchmark.
A benchmark.
We use YouTube as a benchmark.
Okay, so for you to be eligible on YouTube, so this is different to Spotify and Apple, you need to have reached 500 subscribers and have had up to 3 video uploads in the last 90 days. Okay, so they are concerned with the number of posts or EPs, and then one of the following, either 3,000 valid public watch hours in the last year or 3 million shorts views in the last 90 days.
Okay, so
you can really see those are big numbers. So in order for you to start being eligible to actually earn money from your content on YouTube specifically, you need to go and reach those targets. And anyone can see this. It's in your YouTube Studio dashboard under Earn with a little $sign.
So now I've got my podcast and I've got a host that's hosting my podcast.
Yes.
And I'm sending that out to multiple platforms.
Yeah. Yes.
Does the dynamic ad insertion happen on each platform or does it happen by the host side?
It happens on the host side. So you set it up with your host and you're sending it out your podcast to 5 platforms. Those ads will be on all 5 of those platforms, but controlled just with the host. So you're not fussing around on each platform trying to do different things.
It's why working with a host makes a lot of sense as you get bigger. For us in our podcast, we aren't in the space yet where we've got enough followers and enough downloads. So for us to upload our podcast to Apple and Spotify and YouTube manually isn't such a big job. We do have an RSS feed from Spotify to Apple, which means that is seamless.
Okay.
So basically, this podcast is uploaded to 2 places, Spotify and YouTube. And I think when we're talking,
not using a host.
We're not using a host, correct?
Because we're just not big enough.
We're not. You don't need the cost.
Just aren't yet.
Yes. Yeah. And I think, depending on your business and your model, this isn't a hard and fast rule. But for us, we will apply costs as we require them. So if we had a host now, it's not going to tremendously decrease the amount of labor, but it will increase our costs. So for us at the moment, the choice is we'll upload to 2 platforms. We're present on 3. And when we get to the point where our downloads really warrant it and potentially there's some monetization on the horizon for us, then selecting a host will make a lot of sense.
Yeah. So basically what I'm hearing about it is also don't get too excited until you've done the work of building the audience.
Yeah.
The work is building the audience.
Yes.
All these other things will make sense at the right time.
You have to build your brand and build your audience before you can monetize. And you can build your brand without monetizing. You've just got to be consistent with your episodes.
Okay, so this third party, whoever it is doing the ad insertion. How do they decide what ads to insert into your podcast? I mean, like I know with YouTube, they decide based on your audience and who's watching. But how does it work on the other side?
So when you upload your episode, you'll put markers. So you'll be able to say, I'll be comfortable for an ad to be here and here. And you will also note the length of the ad placement. And then the hosting will match that with a piece of advertising material in its catalogue.
But you can decide in the hosting platform, geography, time of day, devices, those sorts of things that you are sort of looking for. So you have a little bit more control than you would with, say, YouTube or something where Google just decides what it puts in there.
Mm.
So the ads can be slightly more relevant. So the process is when a listener hits play, the system checks the geography, the device, all the things that you've specified, and plays them the most relevant ad
to them.
Okay.
Yeah. And then could you say I'm doing a podcast on knitting, which I'm sure Janet's dying to do. Can I restrict it to that kind of category? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that it's always relatable for the audience and the type of content.
So, from the advertiser's perspective, they are looking to reach certain types of people. So they are going to be making specifications. They're going to say, right, we're looking for these kinds of people, this age, this interest, this geography, and that will be sitting in the system. Then from the podcaster side, again, provided you're using a host, you're going to make your preferences known. And then the hosting company will put those two together. But this is all happening programmatically.
Yeah.
There's no intervention.
Yeah, it's all automated.
And
it's seamless when it for the experience is seamless.
It's a better listening experience for the listener because they get more targeted ads that are more relevant and timely ads.
Yeah. So. And I suppose you could always ask your audience if they don't like the ads to donate.
Skip them. Just press skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just takes you to that whole other debate of, should you have advertising in there? Should a creator, have to peddle their wares with advertisers, content slotted into it? It is, it's a whole other debate.
That's another topic for another day.
It's a whole topic for another day. But I think the thing to bear in mind is as your podcast grows, managing these kinds of things become quite challenging.
Yeah.
And you need to have a system through a good hosting company that will provide ads into your feed without you having to manually do anything. And, provided you've got the downloads, that can turn into revenue in due course.
Or get a management company like Hi-Ho to do it for you is the other option.
Is the other option.
So it looks like I'm not going to see some money for some time, but let us know if you want more details on hosts, which hosts you would like us to talk about, and if you have any questions. See you next time.